Welcome to another episode of Start the Week with Wisdom. I'm your host, Bridget Burns from the University Innovation Alliance. This is a special episode that's being recorded to share with you because it is the week before the holiday, and I hope that you're going to get some time off to rest and reflect. I wish that for you, and if you don't have that privilege, I hope that the email traffic is low. I wanted to share with you some inspiration that comes directly from a conversation with a sitting college president that I think will be helpful as you plan for the next year and you think about, how you set yourself up to have the kind of experiences that you'd like to have. I also want to share this episode to quickly thank you for being part of the community of Weekly Wisdom and the Innovating Together podcast, because, I've shared before that this podcast and the shows that we do was derived from a need during COVID, where we needed to, vet potential college presidents to join the alliance. And turns out along the way, we discovered that we were striking a unique, a value proposition, providing something that people were looking for, scratching an itch in the field where people were looking for professional development. They wanted to actually learn what college presidents and chancellors know about leadership. They wanted to actually hear from them and in a conversational and short way. So yeah, that's, it's been wonderful. But I would say the truth is, as I look back, I'm so grateful to have each of you in this community. I frequently will run into people who listen to Innovating Together, and they'll tell me how much they value it. And I'm just always so grateful to meet them, because I don't believe in any of the numbers about who downloads it and watches. I never have. It's like when people tell you about the number of billboard, the people who see your billboard, and so I only count every individual conversation that I have with people who listen to the show. And I'm always so interested in what episodes, what conversations, how would you change it? And so it's because I created this show because I was just like you. I often feel a tremendous amount of kinship with people who listen to the podcast, because I am, like yourself, like a curious person who happens to work in a space that I'm passionate about. But I also wrestle with the same things that everyone else wrestles with: management and leadership, especially around difficult decisions and all the other stuff that gets in the way. And so I just wanted to say thank you for being part of this community. I feel tremendous connection to you. I also would ask that I would love to hear the questions that you would like us to ask. I am curious about, the questions that we currently ask as standard fare in these conversations are because they often surface really interesting insights, or they give us perspective from, there's new stories that come. And what I would love is to know if there are other questions that you think would be more valuable, that would maybe surface even more insight. And one of the easiest and best ways that you can do that is through leaving a review of the podcast and wherever you listen. That's the nicest thing you could ever do for someone who does a podcast. Turns out that people actually pay attention to those. That's how you find more people, is through the reviews. So if you would be so kind, I would greatly, that's my love language, is actually hearing from you. But it doesn't need to be like, hey, you're so great. I would actually just love, hey, what's a question, or who's a person that you would like us to interview? And I would also offer, the thing I'm always trying to find the right people to put in the hot seat, because I'm looking for leaders who are not self-promoting, which is often hard. Like I literally will get from people who run PR agencies. They're trying to market to get people on the show. And I'm just kind of like, we're not that fancy. One, I can't believe people are spending money on trying to get on here. All you had to do is tell me an interesting story or something that they've done that I think would add real value to the audience. So please don't just say you're president, or if it is your president, then tell me a real reason why, right? Just please know of the PR agencies. It's also so obvious when they do that, because they seem like they have never listened to an episode. They don't know what this is about. They're often not even recommending college presidents. They're just CEOs of companies. I'm like, that's not who we're interested in, but thank you. So who do you want to hear from? Please share a comment. It would be so helpful. The other is that those questions that that we ask, the reason why I wanted to do this episode is that we just had a great episode that the conversation really stimulated a desire for me to share with you. And the question was around the things that they're proudest of. And it's very clear across hundreds of episodes, or more than 100 episodes. Let me just say that's true. But it feels like it's hundreds of episodes that we have found that presidents and chancellors, it doesn't matter who you talk to, when you ask them the thing that they most value, that they're proudest of, it is never the KPIs or the things that we actually plan our time around. It is always the people. And so I wanted to share with you that resonated for me, because I think back on this last year, and everything that I care about that mattered was a people experience. It was a relationship I invested in. I think about the summit, and there's a lot that I'm proud of. The moments that really strike me are when I watched someone from our team who so several people. I'd never seen Dr. Candace Staples. I'd never seen Betsy Day. I'd never seen Miranda Milosevic or Devin Scarrett on our team. I'd never seen any of them speak. And watching them get up and kill it and just be so energy forward and rise to the occasion and be so generous and warm for our audience and be so just incredibly even more talented than I even knew. That is my favorite moment from the summit, is watching just people I could see. I saw them and I knew that they had worked really hard and they were prepared. I knew that it meant a lot to them. And it was so great to cheer them on and support them and to be so proud of them. And the other is the fellows and liaisons who I knew had put a lot of time into their summit presentations and sharing. And I knew that some of them were very nervous, and watching them just outperform, outshine any expectations. It warms my heart. The sense of community from the people in the audience when I was walking around talking to them and they were sharing with me some things that were very vulnerable and hard, but that they were getting through because they were finally talking about this, in this space that we created. It's the people thing. It's the people experience. And I think about the relationships that matter, that have made the biggest impact on me. And I am just most wanting to share with you that all the things that you will do this year, I want you to reflect on the experiences you're most proud of. What were they? What were not the outcome, like KPIs, because I know that you're probably going to plan for how much money you raised or how much, what target you hit, but really think deep on these are the moments that matter. They're all people moments. And yet when we're planning out our year ahead, we don't have a method by which we will say, what relationships do I want to invest in? What relationships do I want to grow this year? What kind of experiences? Like I think about last year, one of the cool moments, it was going to the White House. Is it because I was at the White House? No, it was because I got to catch up with my friend, Yolanda Watson-Spiva from Complete College America, who I love. And I got to see so many of my friends, and we got to actually talk to each other and kind of just, catch up and reset. That was the most important moment. And I want to have more of those moments. But if I don't plan for it, I can hope I get lucky, but it's not going to happen. And so what are the kinds of experiences and moments you want to have with people? Is it, we were just in this conversation, and Julie Olean from Quinnipiac was talking about the things she's proudest of is the team that she's built. Well, think about your team that you've built. Think about the people that you get to work with every day. Like what kinds of things do you want to have in the next year that you can look back on? Is it that your team has a real, chance to actually shift your culture? Is it you get to try and do something together that is community building? Is you want to actually do if you want to make it so that your team actually gets a chance to spend time with students, to go out and do something that's even volunteer service so that you can spend some time outside the office, plan for it. How would you make it so that you actually had that happen on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on an annual basis? And how do you apply intentionality to that now? Because I think about those things, and it's the people moments, getting a chance to spend time with people. And honestly, it's our time when we get to spend time with our liaisons. And I just came from 2 campus visits where I was at University of New Mexico and University of Utah. And in both cases, I got time to spend one-on-one with the provost. I got time to spend one-on-one with their fellow in a way that I got to know them and understand what they were going through. And it felt such connection and community, and I got new ideas, and I'm like, this is what I want to do more of. And so I don't know about you, but when I'm planning out my year, I often focus on the things to achieve that I have to deliver. And one of the things I've shared before is about desire mapping, which is a kind of woo-woo method. I'm not saying you should do this, but I think you can take the lesson from it, which is you basically figure out how do you want to feel, and you set your goals based on that. Because the reality is that most of the time when we're pursuing goals, it feels pretty terrible along the way. And then you finish and you win, you get the goal and you're just exhausted. That's for me. We worked so hard this year building the summit that we almost, I think, would have been resentful if we didn't have such a phenomenal experience there. And I wish that the experience of building toward it had felt the way that it felt during the summit. And I could have planned for that. I could have made it much more about community, that we were planning our summit, that we were actually getting a chance to spend time in connection, that we were in person, things like that. So think about how you want to feel. How do you want to feel in the morning when you get to work? How do you want to feel at the end of the day? How do you want to feel on Fridays? What are the kinds of weeks that you've had that have made you feel that way? What are the kinds of days? What are the kinds of meetings or conversations or experiences that have made you feel that way? So for me, I am really one of my core desired feelings is connection and community. And so there are things that I do to drive that. And I'll end with one of those things was creating the show, because during COVID, it was very lonely and I knew that I needed to be inspired to do my work. And I'm so grateful that you came along with me on this journey to, which at the time was really out of a need to connect with people and learn from them. But I'm so grateful. I feel such kinship with you because I too want to learn from other people. I want to know how it is they do what they do, and I also want to feel that community with them. So just like you, this is, I created this because I feel such connection with you and that this was here to solve a problem that I even had. And so I just want to say thank you for being here and for participating and for showing up in so many ways. I hope that you will leave a comment or send an email to me, Bridget at the UIA, with your questions that you think we should add to the queue or someone we should interview in the next year. And I feel such gratitude for the Innovating Together community and for just the way that you take these ideas and you apply them and you share about them back. So I'm thankful for you, and I wish you nothing but a happy holiday. And I hope that your new year, you give yourself the time to plan for the relationships and experiences with the people that matter in your life. And that includes your team. I'll talk to you later. Take care.